If you're tracking patients in a spreadsheet, you likely do not actually have an organized business. You probably have chaos. And I know that might sting a little bit, but stay with me. Because if you've ever wondered why your practice feels like you're working harder and harder, but not seeing consistent growth, this is probably the reason. Now, here's the problem with spreadsheets. On the surface, they feel organized. You've got those neat little columns. Maybe you have color coded tabs. You can see all of your patients' names in one place. But behind the scenes, that spreadsheet is actually just a time bomb. That patient who said they'd call you back never does. And guess what? You might even forget to follow up with them. If someone fills out a form online and their name sits there in row 146 in your spreadsheet, well, now it's too late. Or worse, maybe you think you scheduled someone and you actually didn't. Not only is that lost income, but that's a lost impact. Spreadsheets don't remind you. They don't nurture your patients. They don't send them text message reminders or emails. They just sit there. And they only work if you're the one that keeps them updated. Every time a patient slips through the cracks, again, you're not just losing money, but you're losing impact. And that's someone who maybe never got help with their pain, someone who never got help with their pelvic floor dysfunction, even someone who could have referred 3, 4, 5 more people to your clinic, someone who might have become a raving fan of your practice, but instead they vanished. Now, we have to think about that in terms of multiplying this by weeks and months, and you can see how the chaos just snowballs. No wonder why so many PT business, they feel like they're stuck in survival mode. And honestly, I'm thinking of a client that came to me and said, I feel like I'm doing everything right. I'm posting on Instagram, I'm emailing patients, I'm talking to referral sources, but my schedule just feels very inconsistent. Now, when I asked her how she was tracking her patients and leads, you guessed it, a spreadsheet. Once we built her a simple automated follow-up system, her phone started ringing and she jumped from barely hitting 8 to 10K months to consistently bringing in 25 to 30K a month. Again, nothing magical, no new ad spend, just fixing the leaks. And again, I just want to clear something up. When I say automation, I don't mean building out a fancy, complicated tech stack that takes months and months and brain power to figure out. Automations aren't about being fancy, they're just about being consistent. So when someone books a discovery call, they get an automatic confirmation and a reminder. If they don't schedule after that call, they get a polite follow-up message a couple days later. A patient discharges, well, they're added to a nurture sequence that keeps checking in with them to make sure that they're still doing well, keeps them connected until they're ready to either come back or potentially to refer a friend. And that's it. Nothing crazy, nothing complicated, just systems that are doing a lot of the work for you. And honestly, you probably don't have the bandwidth to keep track of everything with a spreadsheet. And again, businesses that scale are dynamic. They run whether you're in the clinic, whether you're on vacation, spending time with your family. If every detail of your business depends on you remembering every detail, then you don't have any freedom and you've just built a trap. And again, patients can feel the difference. When your systems are clean, they trust you more, they show up, they're engaged, and they stay engaged. When your systems are chaotic, they feel that too. It can erode trust in your ecosystem. And even if your clinical care is excellent, they can still feel that. We need to move you from potential chaos to consistency. And we need to think about it in a few different steps. The first thing is just making sure that you're capturing every lead. So you want to make sure that every lead and patient has one place that they automatically land. No scraps of paper, no Google Sheets, no sticky notes all over your computer. And then you have to build repeatable touch points that keep people engaged. Text, emails, reminders. And then we need to be able to have a pathway of conversion. They have interest, maybe book a discovery call, they book an appointment. How do they become a long-term patient of yours? And doing that in your spreadsheet simply isn't it. So again, if you're still practicing and you're just using spreadsheets, you likely have chaos. And we know this because we did that in the beginning. Everything was about saving money using Google Sheets that actually cost us more money in the long run. So we have to build repeatable systems that don't rely on you micromanaging every small detail. Because if your business runs consistently in the background, that's when you finally create space. Create space for growth potentially, space for freedom, and space for the practice that you actually want in something that you thought of in the beginning. That's what it's all about. Giving you more time freedom, giving you consistent automations that your patients appreciate, and making sure that your business runs to create more impact in your community. That's what it's all about.